Well, this is bound to be one of the most talked about new features in Photoshop CS4, content-aware scaling. Brings a whole new way to transform your images. Let's take a look. Imagine, if you will, you've taken this photograph in a nice landscape orientation, and then your photo editor or your magazine editor or just yourself decide you would like it to be a tall orientation. I suppose you could just crop it, but you want to not lose all this information in here. Well, of course, I've already turned this into an unlock layer. If I tried to use Free Transform to do this, what would happen, of course, is everything would get very, very squished. Well, this new feature called Content Aware Scale looks inside the document for pixel. They actually refer to them as energies, where there's pixels that are less important than others. And as you do, take a look as I'm doing this. See how while the boat is starting to shift a little bit, not too much. There it starts to lose a little bit of quality. Well, the way we can enhance our capability here is if I just make a very rough, and I mean very rough, selection that I will then also feather. And we're going to save that as a channel. Now, when we go to do that same content-aware scaling, one of the options up here in the options bar is to choose what you want to protect. And I'm going to protect that alpha channel that I just created. Now, look at the difference. Look at the boat. See how it's pretty much staying the same size. Everything else is moving, but look at the water and the sky. It doesn't look like it's being squished, does it? It's really just removing little bits of information. Look at the trees and so on. It's just doing a really nice job. Like any transformation, you hit enter when you're done. Let's look at another example. This is really a perfect example of where it come into play. This is an iStock photo that someone created of the same person. I want to decrease the space between them. Traditionally in Photoshop, that would mean making a selection, popping on its own layer, moving it, and so on. Instead, now I just do Content Aware Scale. In this case, I'm not going to protect anything except click this little button which allows me to protect flesh tones, which is obviously good for people. And check it out. When I move using the Content Aware Scale, look what's happening. It's just removing the space in between them. As long as I don't go too far, you can see look at how much I've tightened that space up, but really haven't done anything to the size of the people in this photo. This works for all kinds of things. It works for individual layers and for selections. You can not only scale down, but scale up. So if you wanted more space, let's check it out. Add some canvas size. Maybe we'll add another inch to this and do the same thing. Content Aware Scale. Now we're spreading out our gentlemen into different places, but they're getting slightly larger, but not so much that they're looking, okay, that's a little bad there. So we need to worry about that a little bit. Of course, you have to stay within reason. If you try and push it too far either one way or another, you will start to see a difference. I'm sure you're already imagining some great ways you can take advantage of this new feature, Content Aware Scaling.